Good morning, everybody. It's Bullseye Handicapping. My MoFoJo for the day. I'm not playing the races, and I probably won't be playing until Saturday, and then playing again on Friday, the day before the Derby, and then the Derby. So those are my bullseye targeted races for the next 2-3 weeks, at least 2 weeks. And one of the most important things to do uh, that I do, and I've had to train myself for 10 years to do, is in the meantime to be passing all of these other races. Like today, I just watched Jeremy Plank's show. By the way, I think it's a phenomenal show if you're a gambler. I don't consider myself a gambler anymore because of the fact that, I don't have the funds to gamble. I can only make investments where I think I'm going to 3 out of 4 times win and otherwise pass the races. So I've reduced my races from 2,500 races a year to 50, 60 races a year. But using the same bankroll, for the year. And I find it much more enjoyable, way more enjoyable doing it this way. Unfortunately, it's not easy. But then what is that's worth having, or what is you don't get things easy in this world. Unfortunately, you have to work hard to get whatever you're gonna get. And my MoFoJo is horse racing, the joy of handicapping, the joy of putting a story together. And this morning, I'm excited to come on to talk about sovereignty. I mean, we're going to be talking about sovereignty pretty much all year, and I'm fine with that. Just like Cigar's campaign, horse winning, race after race after race, low odds, but the joy of the game. The fact that journalism is going to run against sovereignty in the Oakland Park Saturday. That no matter what, everything about that is just phenomenal. It's just great. Everything about it is just bada boom, boom, bam, and you gotta love it. And thank you for all you guys for your shows. I saw that past the wire. He picked a long shot for the last graded race. Congratulations, John. I think his name is from past the wire. What a selection! I hope he had 200, 2,000 to win. I hope he had 2,000 to win on that horse. He made a lot of money if he did that. Unfortunately, what happens is people don't usually do bullseye handicapping, which is just bet the race. If you have an opinion that you've been wowed by a horse like that, and you're getting that price, God, you only have to make one investment for the month for a race like that if you're going just playing the race. But unfortunately, as a handicapper and as a horse player, we want more. We want more. So we start doing daily doubles, pick threes, pick fours, pick fives, pick sixes, for the big, big, big score. And you have to do that if you're playing, thousands of races a year. But if you're only playing specialized races and you're only playing one day a week and you're only playing one race, 2 races a week, you can do it another way. I mean, if he made an investment of 5,000 into the race, and he went 2,000, uh, where, I mean, 5,000 is the bet, but in all actuality, it's very difficult to go heavy on a win bet in that situation. Let's say he went $1,000 to win, 2,000 to place, and 3,000 to show, something like that, or even went higher. Went more into the bankroll because of the opinion. But that the score you make on that is phenomenal. Or if you just you're betting to win and place, you're going 2,000 to win and 4,000 to place, something like that. I mean, God, that it's just you know $68,000 in the win pool, and I forget what the place pool was, but um, the point is that you don't have to be so greedy and think that you have to get more and more and more. Just take what they give you. Further ado, 4 to 5. That horses should have been 1 to 2. 1 to 4. I mean, just because he was well spotted, and there's investments you can make just to take out a couple, a little bit of money and enjoy the experience. But I'm happy for him. I want to thank Jeremy Plonk. I really like his shows. If you're a gambler, I mean, he really gives you the track profile, gives you the profile of the race. Also gives his selections, which is fine. But very, very good show. I really like it. So the Daily Racing Forum already went over the Oakland Park race, and I watched that video last night after I did my video. And I was surprised because they were bringing in White Barrio to the race. So they're looking at this as a 3-horse race, White Barrio. And I think actually one of the guys picked White Barrio. I don't know who picked White Barrio. Maybe even David Aragon picked White Barrio. And I think Beard, the other guy, picked Sovereignty, but he says he's not betting the race. And they talked about what I thought about, which was the fact that is this a prep race for Sovereignty, or is it a race that he's going to come out right away? And that's a big question, especially for the odds. And that's the story, that's the narrative, that's the story that you're telling. I'm telling myself, and that's my MoFoJo, so to speak, right? And so I said to myself, okay, so what path is he going to take, Sovereignty? So first I went to Horse Racing Nation, and I went to Cigar, and I watched looked at his campaign, and it was all in placement. Everything was placement with Cigar. He placed him where he could win. He didn't place him in situations where he was going to get beat. And this race here is a placement race, for a good start, because it's a mile and 1/8, not a mile and a 16th. I wouldn't like a mile and a 16th. I like the fact that that Sovereignty, might be overlooked a little bit because of the fact that he's not coming in with any dazzling workouts or anything like that. So the question became, well, what's Sovereignty's campaign going to look like? What's his what's the trainer? What's their schedule, so to speak? So, like I said, I went into Horse Racing Nation, and I went through all the stakes probable, right? And I also went over to White Barrio to see what for older horses, what campaign do they normally take, so I could have a MoFoJo. And then I actually went and opened up the calendars. And this is handicapping. This is high level handicapping, because you're not, you're way ahead of the races, because you want to develop a story where you're looking at something, you're listening to something, and then you detach. I detach, and I muddle it over to continue the story. One thing I think is crazy about horseplay is we got imagination. We can balloon out a story, almost to like a gigantic balloon. Or we can keep it simple and leave it, where it needs to be. But we do have a big span. Managing that span is our gig. So again, getting back to Sovereignty, so I'm asking myself, I went through all the races, then I went to the cards, the Saratoga card, and to see when would Sovereignty be getting back to Saratoga. So okay, so he's 418 Saturday. He's going to be in Oaklawn Park. That's his first race. And then I think in June, June 27th, he'll be going to the Stephen Foster, also a mile and an eighth. And that's, I think, it's going to be over at Saratoga. Yeah. Which is his track. So then after that, I see him going, almost, from 418 to June 27th. Then I see him staying in Saratoga. Now, Saratoga is his gig. So Saratoga, the Forster and the Whitney, I'm not concerned about those races at all for Sovereignty, unless something happens to him in Oaklawn. But so we're looking at the Whitney in August in Saratoga. And, that's a nice spacing from June 27th to August 8th. And then I saw him going from Saratoga, and this was kind of cool to see, which was the best thing. This is the whole thing about the joy of handicapping is looking for golden nuggets, looking for gems, looking for things that make a huge difference from just having an idea versus really getting wowed by a story coming together. So what I'm trying to create here is I'm trying to create a wow, seeing something way ahead of time, and then seeing it actually happen, and knowing it was gonna happen. That's pleasurable, and that's why I don't have to play all these other races. Like today, I don't have to play tomorrow. I'm not playing until Saturday, and then I'm not playing until the first and the second. And in the meantime, I'm doing these little YouTubes and having fun with this, and I'm dancing. And I'll show you my dancing because when I'm playing, I dance. And when I play, next time if I'm getting involved, like I didn't get involved last time. I passed the race, so one of the races, so I didn't continue. But if I'm gonna continue, I'll dance and I'll talk and I'll go through it, for those who might be interested. And if anybody ever wants to say hello, I'm at 475-279-5398. This would be great to hear from some people. But so anyway, let's get back to the path. So then he goes from the Whitney, and then guess what? This is the best. This is if he can get to this, I'm gonna be so excited. Opening day at Belmont. Opening day at Belmont, which would be September 18th, right? He's going to go into the Jackie Gold Cup at a mile and a quarter, and that's where he runs a monster race. Everything's going to be showcased on that Saratoga Jackie Gold Cup. He's going to be the marketing machine for horse racing. Sovereignty, the Jackie Gold Cup, mile and a quarter, opening day at Belmont. That's the path I'm seeing. You know, I and it's a beautiful path because Oaklawn Park, not his place, not his whatever, but is Sovereignty, Mott's next cigar. Then he goes to the Stephen Foster, which he should own. And then and if he goes to the Stephen Foster a little dirty because of the Oaklawn Park race where something just didn't go right, that's even better because that'll elevate the odds for the Stephen Foster. But once he gets to the Stephen Foster, the super sovereignty comes in. Super sovereignty at Saratoga, the Triple S. That's what we can call it. Then it's forget about it. Stephen Foster, bada boom bam. You want to get some value? He runs the Oaklawn Park a little dirty. That would be great. And then you get value in the Stephen Foster. But in the Stephen Foster, the real cigar has to show up. The monster cigar shows up. In the Whitney, shows up again. And then all he's talked about is Saratoga. Opening day at Belmont, mile and a quarter, September 18th. And again, the Breeders' Cup, in November in Keeneland, Mott's unbelievable. This time the campaign I think is going to be one race shorter than last year. I hope to see him looking bigger and stronger, but the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland, um, that race doesn't really matter to me. It might not matter to Mott. He might not even be involved in that race. But I'm not even thinking about that right now, because my thing is going to be from June 27th to September 18th. Just enjoying the whole experience with Sovereignty, the total joy of horse playing, with Sovereignty, and just riding him, through this campaign, and just feeling good about it, and having a blast with it. Not so much. I know the odds are going to be ridiculous, or not, which would be fine. But I also think that you're going to get. I think journalism is going to follow pretty much the same path. If they both have like a really good match race at Oaklawn Park, I think that they're gonna go right to the Stephen Forster together. And if they have a good Stephen Forster with a couple of others, then I think they're gonna go to the Whitney, and we'll see what happens. So then I get to my second best my second best targeted bullseye handicapping horse is Beaza. Now the good thing is Mott took him over, and I am ecstatic about Mott taking over Beaza. Ecstatic. To go from John Sheriff's to Billy Mott, there's nothing bad about that at all. It's both fine. So he's going in the Ali Sheba on the 1st of May, which is going to be on Friday of the Churchill Down card before the Kentucky Derby, which is great because Saturday will be the one race, and then I won't play another race until Beaza, because he's the other horse that I've been wowed about, and I'm gonna enjoy the journey with him as he goes forward. I like the fact that he's going into the grade 3, like I said before. A mile and a 16th. I would rather a mile and an eighth, a mile and a quarter, but a mile 16 might be okay, because of the fact that it's a grade 3. I think also his end game is the Breeders' Cup Classic. I think that it'd be interesting hell to see what path he's going to take after the Alashiva. I don't think he's going to join Sovereignty. Why? He doesn't need to. But I don't know what other path he's going to take. So I'm interested in finding that out over the next 2 weeks, what path he's going to take, and then I'll chart him out. So that's pretty much my MoFoJo for the bullseye handicapping approach, jockey weight. Only playing a race when you're wowed, right? Only playing the races when you're wowed, and these races wow me. So I'm not interested in the dances anymore. I'm not interested in the Monday through Monday through Friday and Sunday races. I'm just interested in the prom. I'm just interested in going to the prom now. I'm an old dude, and it just fits. Training myself to be a winner. This is where I came to. Where I have the difficulty is not playing races. The difficulty is letting go of being addicted to the racing form. Hang on tightly, let go lightly. Let go lightly the racing form. Let go lightly all this horse racing data. When I'm looking at the race for the Oaklawn Park race, I'm not looking at White Barrio and those other two horses. I'm not even going to look at them. I'm not looking at Publisher. I'm not even looking at those horses. I'm looking at 2 horses. That's it. White Barrio, if he wins, there's nothing I could do about that. But the horses that I'm interested in are horses that have wowed me. They've been like these are great horses. And journalism and sovereignty are great horses in my mind. And following them and enjoying them through the experience is good. And I've learned to detach from, trying, because when you start looking at the other horses, you're going to think that you're a pace specialist. And you start looking at the other horses, you're going to find the reason to play an exactor or a triple or a super. Oh, Publisher's in good form, and he can run big today. Yet he hasn't raced. He's going to be racing 21 days later from his peak effort, his highest, his biggest effort off of Lasix the last race. Horse could be not even on the board. It could go either way. But again, I don't want to dive into that part of the narrative of handicapping. I detach from it, because I'm playing a horse to win here. Um, that's all I'm doing. I'm playing a horse to win here, or I'm not playing any horse to win here, and I'm just enjoying the race. Just enjoying the race. And there's a good chance that that's all I'm going to do is enjoy the race this time. And actually hope that Sovereignty is a little short. Versus him being cigar like for the rest of this year. Because then I can get something, more in the next race, which as I said, would be the Stephen Forster in his favorite track. You'd get, maybe a half a point more, maybe a full point more, depending on the effort. So I could use this race coming up, the Oakland Park, not so much to, like the guy at Daily Racing Form said, Beard, is that, taking this race for information purposes versus betting it. That might be my case too. But again, I'm wowed at just these two horses, and I don't want to be distracted by the others by looking at them and finding a reason to say they're gonna this, they're gonna that. Forget that. I'm past that. That's obsessive handicapping. That's just trying to blow the balloon up higher and higher, and basically it's wobbling. It's as the late Mike Pizzola said, if you're gonna stand, stand. If you're gonna sit, sit, but don't wobble. Anything you do but doing what you want to do is a wobble. And for me, what I want to do is follow the campaign of these two horses in Beaza. And that's what I'm going to do. So again, I hope you guys do good at Keeneland today. I hope you have an enjoyable day. I hope Jeremy Plonk does really good. I hope that his information also helps you. I hope all this information. The great thing is that horse players love to talk. We're so full of shit, right? We love to talk. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. I think that anybody ever wants to say hello, give me a ring. Otherwise, I let the horse be with you, as Harvey Packwood said. Bye now.